All right. Uh, so so funny. You're here, you got your computers on. But okay, so it looks like we have two face-to-face students and two students online. And so I've been thinking about how to teach this class the best way. What would benefit the students the most? And so the way the evenings will go, the first thing we'll do is kind of updates and figure out where everybody is and see if there's any problems. I'll give you updates to the course. So that's what this section is. And you'll have lectures each week, and you'll also have a time to work with me on whatever's due each week. So here's what I was thinking, and we can do it differently if you need to, but I'm pretty flexible. So the thing is, in undergrad, if you had a research project, um, you would usually do research, and we'll talk about how to do research, but you would look at what everybody else has written on the subject, and you'll write a paper on it. This is a little different because it's graduate school. So part of the thing with a master's degree is that people with master's degree, we want you to also contribute to the profession in some way. And the way I teach classes is I want you to get something from the class that you can use when you're going to be a counselor. I don't want this to be a project or a paper that you write that it's on your computer and you'll never use again. I mean, you're all going to be counselors. So I want you to be able to actually come up with some things that you could use with the population with whom you're going to work. So, and something new that you might want to share with peers or even present at a conference or something like that if you wanted to. Um, so the difference is, yeah, you're going to do research on what's been done, but you're going to look at all the best things that worked to some degree. And you're going to combine what you like, you're going to add something new, maybe something that hasn't been done before, and come up with a model to treat a population that you think you're going to work with as a counselor. So there's pros and cons to teaching this course in the summer. In the summer, I have a lot more time to spend with people to help them. And but the problem is this is normally a 15-week course, and it's a big project. And the only thing I can do is lower the number of pages, but you still have to complete each section. So, it's still a lot of work. And there's usually something due each week, whereas in a 15-week semester, there's something due about every other week. So here's what I was thinking. So I've taught this course both completely in person, I've taught it completely asynchronously, and I've taught it multimodal, which is combined with all three. And so right now we have people sitting here in class, we have people online live, and we have people who are going to watch this recording whenever they're able to. So what I was thinking was that I have every lecture recorded. And so I was thinking about letting you watch the recorded lectures, but spending this time to walk you through every single assignment and to work on it with you so that it's kind of a process. Because normally, if I just had a face-to-face class, I'd give a lecture the first half of the class and the second half of the class, we'd all work together. We'd edit our lit reviews together. We would come up with ideas together. but we're going to have to do like twice as much because we have half the number of weeks to a summer semester. And I do think that you learn from the lectures. I go over each chapter in the book, I give examples, but I think the real learning takes place when you're applying these things and I'm helping you actually complete the project. I think that's where the real learning occurs. So I think that's what we're going to do. And anybody online, asynchronous or, synchronous, can come to this class time and we'll work on things together. And I will record, what we talk about with each assignment. But also, after this class is over, if let's say you're not off of work yet or you're driving home and you can't make a 5 o'clock time, okay, after this class, I'll drive home. But I can also work with people from like 8 to 9 o'clock tonight. After I get home, I can work. I have office hours on Wednesday, 3 to 5. I know that's also difficult if you work, but I can also, make appointments with you in other times that will work for you. I think the key thing here is that I don't want you to miss out on the collaborative part of this. I want to be able to work with you, talk with you. Like if you have an idea for a topic, it's good to talk about that with somebody, to kind of refine your topic. Once you write the lit review, it's good to edit that with somebody so that, when you hand it in as part of a complete project at the end, it'll be good go. You won't have any problems with it. So, I'm happy to edit things with you. I'm happy to walk you through each section. I know that a lot of students in counseling, because I was one, are not thrilled with research, everything that goes into proposing a study, reliability, validity, all of that. And so, I found that the best thing to do is to work on it together and to talk about each section. So I think that's the way we're going to do it. And then that'll also allow you to ask questions, to refine things with me, to edit things with each other and me. And that'll probably be the most helpful to you. Let me talk, before we go any further, let me talk a little bit about my teaching philosophy. I know not many teachers do, but mine's a little different than other professors. They require me to give a grade. And I know that every student is a little stressed out about getting a good grade. I personally don't care about grades. What I do care about is I want you to be able to learn the material that's necessary to be a good counselor. And in my mind, you either know it or you don't. So, um, so in any of my classes, whatever it is, whether it's skills and techniques, whether it's theories, whether it's research, you get to rewrite things in this class until they're good to go. So you don't have to fear a grade or a bad grade, whatever. As long as you take the time to rewrite things and maybe do a little more research in a certain area, whatever it is, whatever you need to do, you can resubmit things and get an A. I personally don't care about the A. I want every student to learn what they need to learn. So my part is, I see professors as people who educate, people who help people refine their skills, people who help you. We're like gatekeepers, I don't want to send you into the field with a real client unless you know what you're doing. And that hey, there were classes that I took as a master's student that I feel like they didn't adequately prepare me for real people who were my clients. And others were fantastic. They went above and beyond. And I think that also, there are some uh, more practical sides to this class. You need to pass the comps and the NCE. So there's definitely a research and stats part of those two exams. The comps is the test you need to graduate. And the National Counseling Exam, the NCE, is the one you need for an LPC. If you don't know already, they're put out by the same company. So if I study for one, you're studying for both of them, so you might as well take them both at the same time. Because if you wait 2 years after you graduate to take the NCE, you're going to have to restudy. You'll forget a lot. So like one of the things I included is class notes for the entire book in the semester. So, and they're the notes that I use to study for the NCE. So I think that you could use that as a study guide. I always hated it when, I'm looking at a professor and they're teaching a class and they're looking at their notes and everybody's taking notes. And I'm like, why are we taking notes? Give me your notes. Go photocopy them. Put them on the web. Why are we rewriting what you've already got? I just thought it was such a waste of time. And then when I started out, I did it that way, and everybody's writing, and then they say, could you repeat that? Or, what did you say? And it's just distracting. So, you know, I don't know what it is, ego or fear that, a student will say, oh, you're teaching from your notes. Yeah, that's what notes are for. Uh, So, you've got a complete study guide of notes that you can download and use them to study for the comps and the NCE and everything else. They're on D2L. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, so the way I teach, it's called mastery learning. I want you to master certain knowledge in this subject, research, so that you can be a good counselor and you can resubmit things and rewrite things until I feel you've mastered it to a certain degree. Let's see what else. Um, yeah, I think the only other thing to talk about is um, Karen and Carolyn. Have you met each other before? Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you plan on being on Zoom each week? Okay. So then would you two mind being partners?
Fine.
I mean, you can both be individuals. That's just like a lot more work. That's all. So, I mean, you can. It doesn't bother me. Everybody's going to have the option. You can do it alone or find a partner. But the reason I'm specifically asking you to is because you can work together and I can help you both, as we move through the semester if you're going to be on Zoom together. Okay. You two want to be partners since you're the only face-to-face students. All right, that sounds good. Um, and and then anybody else who's asynchronous. A lot of asynchronous people don't know each other, uh, and you can definitely do it alone, or you can get a partner if you look on our class list, and if you could just go to communication and email, and you'll get a class list, and you'll see everybody on there. and see if you know anybody from previous classes that you might want to be a partner with, and email them and ask them. And maybe you already do have contacts with other students who you know are in the class. And you can just email me and let me know if you want a partner, if you have a partner already. Now it does hand gestures. And there's one that does balloons. There it is. All right. So, and you can let me know just in an email whether you want to work alone or whether you have found a partner, you know somebody in the class that you want to be a partner with. Or if you don't know anybody and you want a partner, I'll do my best to match you up. Um, and we'll see how that goes. So think about that and do that soon, like before next class, because just because we're only 7 weeks, you're going to have to come up with topics pretty quickly. And we're going to talk about that also. But I'm just thinking about kind of logistics and yeah. So I'll definitely work with anybody who's asynchronous at a different time if you can't come to the Zoom. And we'll find a time that works for everybody so that at least I can meet with everybody a couple times. Like it's important that we find a good topic for you, because if you work the whole semester and it's not a good topic, it's going to be rough. And so we need to kind of refine the topic, get you on the right track, and then help you with the lit review, and we'll edit it together. And then we should meet for the final paper and presentation. So if everybody meets at least 3 times who are asynchronous with me, we'll find a time to do that works for you. And I can help you at least at those 3 stages throughout the semester. It's only 7 weeks. And then whoever can be here on Zoom or in person, we'll spend time together and work on it here in class and walk through it together. All right. So before we go over the syllabus, just any general questions about kind of the logistics of the class?
I had a question regarding how you were explaining the formatting of classes. You had said that you were thinking about putting up a lecture maybe on D2L and then meeting synchronously with this classroom of people. And then we would do work together. When would the lecture, would class still start at 5? When would the
Yeah.
lecture be posted?
Yeah. So
Okay.
since the class is on Thursday, everything's posted on Thursday.
Okay.
And like they're up now.
Okay.
And we're going to go over D2L. I just want to record it on a different recording. And we'll go over the syllabus and everything. But for the people who were able to join for class, I think we'll look at the assignment that's due every week and we'll work on it together. And I'll work through like terminology, like if you have to find a measurement or an assessment and it needs to have reliability and validity, we can actually work on that together. And if you are asynchronous, I'd be happy to find a time that works for you for any week. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to work on together, I'd be happy to do that. And some people are more independent, and maybe we'll just check in 2 to 3 times throughout the semester sometimes. Whatever works for you, I'm willing to do that. Does that answer your question? All right, sounds good. All right, let me stop recording and well, hey, since we're going to be together, let's introduce ourselves and let's let's start with online. And we've got, since we have a lot of asynchronous people, so most people are asynchronous. But let's see, I'll let you all introduce yourself first and then I'll talk a little bit about myself. But go ahead, Carolyn, introduce yourself. You can say like kind of where you are in the program, if you're like school or clinical mental health. Is there a population you're interested working in? Do you have any interesting experiences? I was going to do an icebreaker, but we could probably skip your spirit animal or whatever.
Darn, I had one. Okay, well, I'm Caroline. This is my third semester in the clinical mental health program. I'm in Pittsburgh. Um, and something I think that's unique about my journey with clinical mental health counseling is I do already have a master's degree in developmental psychology. But through doing work in family-based therapy, I've wanted to kind of pursue getting my LPC so that I can be more independent with counseling. So hoping to get my LPC one day to be a counselor. I do like family-based therapy, so I do like the marriage and family route. I also just like the idea of plain old Jane outpatient therapy. I think I do well with kids and teens. I like working with them. But I also have found through family base that I do like working with adults as well. So no real population in mind, trying to keep an open mind and see where my skills and where my interests take me one day.
So you're in Pittsburgh, so you're
Mhm.
pretty close.
Yes, I am.
Have you ever come to California?
I don't think so. No. My boyfriend's family lives out by like Bell Vernon. I think that's kind
That's
of
really close.
yes. I think yeah. So I think I've been on the campus maybe like coincidentally once or twice. But I've choosing to do online and doing it part-time because I work full-time and my schedule can be fairly unpredictable. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good. So you went into developmental psych for the
mhm.
masters?
Yes.
Where'd you do that?
Pitt.
Yeah, see, don't they have a developmental doctorate?
I think they do, yes.
Because most people who go into the developmental psych at Pitt get that doctorate. That's kind of what they're into. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I went to Pitt right after I finished undergrad with the intention of becoming a child life specialist. This was 2020, 2021, so that was becoming increasingly difficult with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was more so introduced to the world of mental health. So a little bit of a trajectory change in my life, but so now I'm in Pittsburgh. So all good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, yeah, I used to live in Mount Lebo. Now I'm out in Greensburg.
Okay.
Change,
Okay.
big change. And I work at St. Clair Hospital, do
Oh.
in the psych unit for, you know, when they need me.
Oh, okay. That's not Southwood or like affiliated with Southwood, is it?
No, it's St.
No. Okay.
It's a regular hospital.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Got
like an emergency room and everything.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got you.
All right. Well, thanks. Good. All
Mhm.
right, Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen. I am in the school counseling track. I have hopefully just after summer 2 more semesters to go. I've been a special ed teacher for 11 years now. I'm an emotional support teacher for students in second and third grade. So that, you know, being in the emotional support world of education, the needs are increasing. I am the school counseling track, but also very interested in this program where, we can get our LPC as well. I just feel like that's preparing me, even now in my classroom, the things that I've learned through the program. I see myself bringing them back in and supporting my students in different ways. So it's been very beneficial. And even if I stay in the classroom, I want to pursue the LPC and maybe do school counseling, maybe do, outside of school setting, but definitely uh, working with the childhood population.
Yeah, what school district are you in?
So I live in Philadelphia, so I work for the Bucks County intermediate unit.
Ah, Bucks County.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lots of resources.
Mm. Yeah.
All right. Well, I love being a school counselor. I'd still be an elementary school counselor if I didn't go back to school. So, yeah, that was like one of the best jobs I ever had. So, um, yeah, loved it. I was outside of Harrisburg, kind of a commuting community. It's called Dillsburg School District, Northern School District, but it was Dillsburg was the little town. Their claim to fame was dropping a giant pickle on New Year's Eve since it's Dillsburg.
Oh.
So, all right. Well, good. And so you don't need to take the special ed prereq class since you're in that.
Yes, I
But
got out of that.
you already take the English language learner one as well.
I just finished that one. Yes.
All right, good, good.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Thank you.
All right. All right, you two. Go ahead, Tara.
Hi guys, I'm Tira. I am in the clinical mental health track. I have this semester and fall semester, and I hope to graduate in December. I am currently working in the field in an inpatient treatment for drug and alcohol. And I am in my fieldwork internship at Tracy Counseling and at my job in the drug and alcohol rehab.
That's in
In
Uniontown.
Uniontown. So I'm in Pennsylvania. I live in Bell Vernon. And something interesting, I have 3 dogs. I have German Shepherd, a Husky, and a Pit Bull puppy. And they're mama's babies.
Sounds good. All right, go ahead.
Hi, guys. My name's Debbie. This is my 3rd semester in the mental clinical health track. I work in drug and alcohol. I live in Uniontown, but I'm from West Virginia, so sometimes I might have an accent come out. Usually when I get excited, that's all. What else? I was thinking about just working with adults. However, I just got finished reading a book called The Boy That Was Raised by a Dog. I think that's what it's called. By Dr. Perry. Anyways, so about childhood trauma. And I kind of was like, oh, maybe I want to work with kids. But I don't know yet. We'll see. But the idea of working with kids kind of popped up. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I spent many years working with childhood trauma in a private practice and with CYS, and it's wonderful, but
I know.
you kind of get burned out a little bit. It's so sad sometimes, but it's needed, and yeah, definitely. All right, well, that sounds good. And so anybody who is asynchronous, I don't know, I don't think I have a discussion post up, but I might create one if anybody wants to introduce themselves or tell us your story or whatever. All right, I'm going to stop recording and then we're going to go over the syllabus.